Pretty good. Even Randy did a good job that day. Oh.
All right, friends. Good evening, Shabbat Shalom, and good Shabbos from a beautiful evening here in Huntington.
Good Shabbos.
100 degrees.
Not even close.
110?
Yeah, keep going. You bet. It was 87.
I gotta believe what a rabbi told me, right?
Ah, it was a beautiful day here. The sun was out, the sky was blue. If there was humidity, I didn't notice it. And it was just a very, very pleasant day. It's one of those days that you wish you could bank and pull out when, it's a really hot day or a rainy day or something that you're not really fond of. But as far as days go, this was a gorgeous one. And looks like it's going to be a gorgeous Shabbat. So, go out and enjoy the day a little bit. The evening, sit on the porch. If you have a hammock, like I do, kind of swing on the hammock and, enjoy the beautiful, beautiful weather. But regardless of the weather, it will still be Shabbat, and that makes everything really, really grand. And so we'll begin on page 2. We'll have Judy come up, and we will have the blessing over the candles.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'zivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
All right, let's begin on, or let's continue, actually. We have begun page 9. Let's read responsively. An English reading, top of page 9. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
Shabbat we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we care nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat we remember the justice of our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. All right, let's turn to page 20. Little Lecha Dodi. It comes to us from the mystics in Tzfat. We talk about that all the time. Welcoming the Shabbos bride or the Shabbos queen. They would go out. Usually the weather in Tzfat is a lot like this most of the time. And they would go out into the hills and watch the sunset and recite psalms, as most of Kabbalat, well, all of Kabbalat Shabbat is psalms and or a couple of songs. And they would greet the Shabbos bride as the sun set, and they would then go back to the synagogue for Friday evening services. So top of page 20, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nikabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nikabela, shamor zachor b'dibur echad. Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki mikor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, פני שבת נקבלה, מקדש מלך ימלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך אפיך, רב לך שבט בימך בך, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, פני שבת נקבלה, התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי, קורבה אל נפשי גאלה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, פני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לא תבושי ולא תיפולי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, בך יחסו עניי עמי, ונפנתה עיר אל תילה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, פני שבת נקבלה, והיו לשמצה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כי המסס חתן על כלה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, פני שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי, על יד איש בן קרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, פני שבת נקבלה, בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וסהולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, פני שבת נקבלה. All right, let's continue with a psalm, Psalm 92, some verses from Psalm 92, the psalm for Shabbat. Let's read the outdented paragraph in English together. A song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together, you have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadikata yifrach, ke'erez alvanon yiskeh, shetulim bebeit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. O Jinuvun b'seva, b'shenim v'ra'ananim, yiyu lehayi, ki ashar Adonai tzuri Velo avlatavo. Page 24, we welcome the angels who come to spend Shabbat with us, although I'm not a big fan of the fourth verse because we just welcomed them in the first three, and then in the last verse we say, depart in peace, and Shabbos has just begun. So we should have saved that verse until Havdalah. But it's Shalom Aleichem, it's part of the Gemara, it's part of the Talmud coming out of Shabbat, the Masechet, the tractate of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShari, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 146, we begin the evening service with Baruch Hu. Page 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Ha'ed. Page 147, let's read together the three paragraphs in English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish. But your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Arabim. Top of 148, the second blessing, the second bracha before the Shema. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadita Al kein Adonai Eloheinu V'shochteinu u'kumeinu Nasiach bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha Le'olam ha'ed Ki heim chayinu v'yorech yameinu v'yorech yameinu Uvahem nehege yomam v'layla yomam v'layla Ve'ahavat techal tasir imenu li'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amho Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'ahavta ha'et Adonai Elohecha B'chol v'acha V'chol nafshecha U'v'chol miyotecha V'hayu Advarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom halvavecha, vishinantam levanecha, vidibarta bam, vishivtecha leveitecha, uvlechtecha baderech, uveshokrecha uvkumecha, uvshartam leohot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beineinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, lema'an tizkeruhu va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim leloichem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 151, let's read responsibly in the middle of the page. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes under us as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
We bring everyone in life of ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We
Top
of 152. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nohora tehilo, osek ve'eleh, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, ze'li anu v'yamruhu, Adonai yihlo le'olam bo'ed, v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, uga'alo mi'ad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, ba'al Yisrael. 153 at the top, the first two lines of Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Let's read together on the middle of page 153. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are truth, protection, and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, aforei sukkot shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. On page 154, it's not Shabbat without it, Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, לדורותם בגדולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בגדולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בגדולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We are at the central prayer of the evening service, the Amidah, and we'll be chanting pages 155, 156, and 157 together, and then we'll go silent as you can finish the Amidah on your own. You could read the English, or read the Hebrew brachot or the English translations, or offer up your own meditative prayer during that time. But we're going to begin together on page 155. Adonai sifatai tiftahu bi'ahilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftahu bi'ahilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanura, Elyon, Rohel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avovim Ahod, Umevi Goel B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Yisrael Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Meitim Atara L'Hoshia. Hashiv HaRuach u'morid HaTahal, Mechokel Chayim b'Chesed, V'chayei Meitim b'Racham Rabim. Somech Noflim v'Roveh Holim, U'matir Hasumim, U'mekayem Emunato, L'shenei Amor, Michamocha Ha'Givorot, Umidon Melech, Melech Mivim U'mechayem, U'matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei Amen. So completing our Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We're in the middle of page 160. Let's read together the English in the middle of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find peace this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat. Top 163, a little bit of Thanksgiving. Let's read responsibly. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, the hope of tomorrow, all praise the source of being.
We'll close out the Amidah with Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivorech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. All right, page 253, Misha Baroff. If you have anybody who needs a little bit of extra healing this Shabbat, this coming week, keep them close to your thoughts and in your hearts as we prepare for Misha Baroff, middle of page 253. Misha Baroff Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We'll jump ahead to pages 258 and 259, prayers for our community. And Dennis, would you, on top of page 258, give us the prayer for our congregation?
Certainly. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn those passions from us: love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levacha b'yirah na'avod. David, how about prayer for our country?
Our guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that they serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. And let us say amen.
Amen. Thank you both. Shalom, shalom, Yerushalayim, Yishlayu, Ohavayif. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael V'Golo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reishit Tzmichat Ulatenu. Again Aleha V'Yavrat Chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Uracha V'Amitcha, L'Rasheha Sareha V'Yoetzeha, V'Takneim Be'etzah Tova L'Fanecha, V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'Simchat Olam V'Yoshveha, V'Nomar Amen. Maury, prayer for Israel, please.
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. There we go. It is Parshat Ekev this week. Moshe continues his final speeches. He's got a long series of speeches. There was, I remember when I was in Tulsa in graduate school, somebody came up to the rabbi after services and said, you know, Rabbi, in the beginning of the story of Moses, he said that he was slow of speech. And now we can't get him to shut up. So, you know, we were reading the book of Devarim, and Moses is kind of long-winded, but he is giving his final lectures, as it were, to a group of people that weren't there for the history. This is a history lesson. And so he tells those who are gathered, and he tells them to observe the commandments, that if we observe the commandments, God will keep the covenant that God established with our patriarchs, that the land will be fruitful, there will be no disease, and we will be victorious over all of our enemies. He then recounts the journey through the wilderness, focusing on the time that God gave the manna. And we get this famous line that man shall not live by bread alone, but by what God decrees. So what the rabbis interpret that as meaning is, you know, God gave them manna. God could give us anything, and we could survive on it as long as it comes from God. Moshe turns his lecture to a warning where he warns the children of Israel against arrogance. Right? Don't be boastful when things are going your way. Don't forget to give thanks. Right? You didn't make any of this happen. Right, from your meals all the way down to your very lives. Don't forget God, right? Because he reminds them that God brought us out of Mitzrayim. God brought us out of Egypt. God led us through the Midbar, through the wilderness. God fed us with the man. God gave us the man from heaven. And it's not by our own power or our own might that we succeed. It's because God wants us to succeed. When we occupy the land, he warns, don't think that this is because of our virtues, right? Don't think of it because it's because of my virtues. He points out that the children of Israel were less than virtuous while they were in the wilderness. But we get to occupy the land because the people who are in it now are even more wicked than our ancestors were. He recounts the golden calf incident, the great sin of one of the two great sins of our desert dwelling ancestors. And he reminds them that he spoke on behalf of Bnei Yisrael to God, convincing God not to destroy us and start over again with Moshe. Right? Moshe intercedes on our behalf, and we get a new set of tablets. Remember, Moshe broke the first set when he saw them worshiping the calf, so God goes up and he needs to carve out a new set. So ultimately, Moshe asks, what does God want? And he gives them a very, very easy answer. Keep the commandments. Do what is right, right? Circumcise your heart, which is an interesting image, and it's the actual word in Hebrew for circumcise. Cut away the thickening around your heart is how it continues, right? Be compassionate. Be nice to people. Understand that people go through difficult times. So cut away that thickening of your heart that protects you and makes you think that, well, all the things that Moshe warned against. And so at the end, he says, you have to remember to care for the orphan, the widow, and the immigrant, because we were all orphans and widows and immigrants. And by cutting away the thickening around our hearts, we will understand their plight a little bit better. Those who are keeping track at home, there were 8 new mitzvot in this parsha, 6 positive, right? 6 things that we're supposed to do and 2 negative, 2 that we're not supposed to, grand total of 8. And this is your Torah portion in a nutshell. So I'm a big fan of trivia things, right? So I like to read what would you like to do? What don't you like to do? What's your favorite ice cream? Things like that. So we discovered that one of the most difficult tasks for people, right? One of the most difficult tasks is not public speaking, although plenty of people don't like public speaking. It's not hitting a baseball, which is considered by most people the most difficult thing for a human being to do because of all of the different bodily functions that are involved, from your muscles to your eyes to your brain to all sorts of things, to the physics of the ball coming in at you. It's not hitting a baseball. It's not public speaking. It's not, as my friend Max, who studies Hebrew with me, it's not reading Kaddish D'Rabbanan in Aramaic. No, none of those are the most difficult. Being alone and thinking, being alone in a quiet room is the most difficult task for a vast majority of people. We do not like to be alone with our thoughts. Over several years, the University of Virginia and Harvard did 11 studies and found that people did not enjoy 6 to 15 minutes, such a small band of time, in a quiet room by themselves. Most of them could barely last 6 minutes. Very few made it to 15. People were going stir crazy just being in a quiet room with nothing else. They preferred to perform external mundane activities, counting paper clips, doing stuff like that. Many preferred to give themselves small electric shocks instead of having to sit there for 6 to 15 minutes in complete quiet. People needed to do something. They felt that they needed to do something. They didn't just want to sit there and think. And rather than do nothing, they would do something even if it had a negative effect. Now, granted, shocking yourself with a small electric charge, is not necessarily dangerous, but it's not the smartest thing to be doing. So ultimately, we have retrained our brains. We are so used to constant stimuli and the neurochemical hits that they provide for constant connection to things, right? Try it sometime. Just try sitting without anything for 6 minutes. All right, now if you meditate, I mean, that's 6 minutes is really nothing. I mean, I crave silence. I crave quiet. But most people don't. They need this constant stimulus. Look at ads on television. They're very bright, they're very colorful, they're very loud, and they're always telling us to get ready for the next big thing. Whether it, I mean, I fast forward to commercials, but the idea is that they're always keeping us on edge. They're always keeping us, it's coming out, it's coming, it's, 5 days until the next Marvel movie, 4 days until Toyota reveals its new eco-friendly, diaper-changing SUV that runs on babies' burps. I mean, it's always something to get us excited, to get us agitated. Something is always coming at us, which means we never have to be alone with our thoughts. We're always focused on something else. We're always looking at something else. We're always waiting for something else. And I don't need to tell you about 11 studies, because just go to a Starbucks, just go to a restaurant, just go to any place where people are sitting gathered together and watch people when they hear a ping on their phone. They get excited. Who is it? Oh, it's a text from somebody saying, I could have facial surgery for only $49 a month for the rest of my life. It's all sorts of ads. Even if it's a wrong number, people kind of get, ooh, what is it? What is it? It's almost Pavlovian. The phone pings and we react. But we pay a price for this. We pay a huge price. We lose something. Right? We're always on edge, and we lose the ability to appreciate silence and solitude. In fact, I would venture to say that most people have lost the ability to tell the difference between being alone and lonely. Lots of people don't want to spend time alone because they feel that they are lonely. I like to spend time alone. I really do. I always have. And I'm never lonely. I've got my thoughts, which always keep me active, right? I mean, that's the thing, is that if you're not afraid for some introspection, if you're not afraid to think about things, being alone is wonderful. Especially in a world where lots of decisions have to be made, lots of things have to be figured out. There are lots of arguments, pro and con everything, and if you just knee-jerk reaction all the time, that's not good. Quiet. Even a few minutes, 6 minutes a day, can restore and refresh you. The idea of shalom, right? Shalom, peace, wholeness, unity, right? If you say to someone Shabbat Shalom, may they have a peaceful Shabbos, that's one without a lot of bells and pings and dings and electronics. Turn this stuff off. When I was in Tampa, a congregant made for people who turn their phones off on Shabbat little sleeping bags with their favorite team logo on them. And so when Shabbat rolled around, you were to turn them off and tuck them in there. It came with a little drawstring, came with a little pillow. Your phone got Shabbat off. No pings and bells or whistles. Right? So Shabbat is a time for quiet. It's a time to recharge. It's built into our schedule. 6 days we get to work. 6 days we have to listen to the pings and the dings and have the ads coming at us, have people wanting us to move. Shabbat, it's a time to unplug. Right? Put away the electric guitar, take out the acoustic guitar. Time to be quiet. Time to reflect. Time to refresh. Because it's only getting worse. Only getting worse. And so start this Shabbat. Turn your phone off. If you can't live with it off, put it on vibrate. If you can't have it on vibrate, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe take it out of your pocket and set it aside. Go to a different room and just sit and think and have some quiet. You'll be glad you did. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Well said.
All right, Maury, what time is it?
Kadoosh.
It's Kiddush time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. Part of what makes Shabbos Shabbos is Kiddush. That's Kaddish. I need Kiddush. One more time. I wish I was in the right service.
Okay.
You don't have the whole tray.
I don't think get much of a buzz with that kind of wine, but Vayeh vahiboker yom hashishi vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivav vayachal Elohim vayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa vayishvot vayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto Ivo Shabbat Mikol Melachto Asher Bara Elohim La'aso Sabri Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Borei Peri Hagafel Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Kiddushanu B'mitzvotav V'ratzavanu Shabbat Kodsho V'ahava U'ratzon Inchilanu Zikaro L'maaseh Bereshit Kihu Yom Tefillah L'mikra'ei Kodesh Zecher L'tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu V'acharta Yotanu Kidashta Mikol Ha'amim V'shabat Kodshecha V'ahava U'ratzon Inchaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Very good.
We'll start concluding our evening service on page 282. We know it as Elena. Alvenu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol La'atei Gedulah li'otzeh Bereshit Shelo asanu k'goyei ha'ratzot V'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama Shelo samchelkeinu kahem V'gohor aleinu kechol ha'monam V'anachnu kori U'mishpachavim u'modi Lifnei melech Malkei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu noteh shamayim v'yoser haaretz U'Moshe yikaro b'shamayim ima'av U'shmina kuzo v'gomei meromim U'Eloheinu Eidod Elokeinu Echezurato Nagatu B'Torato V'yadata Hayom V'Hashevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim V'Shamayim V'Ima'av the Aretz, V'itahat Eneino. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. This week, we observe the following yard signs. Jenny Goldenberg, relative of Dennis Hamill. Mike Rhodes Miller, Mark and Matt's brother. Samuel Sampson Sr., Julia Ziffer's brother and Grandy's partner. Father of Sam and Marjorie. Ida Ratner, Harry Greenstein's aunt. Edward Honecker, relative of Brant and Jenny Ross. Paul Kirsch, husband of Gert, relative of Steve Jacobson. Jacob Jacobs, Leila Kunz's father. Abe David Goldenberg, Mickey's husband, Janice's father. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us always, and may they all rest in peace.
Amen, amen.
Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, the Almar, Rach, Hirute, the Amlit, Machute, the Chayechon, the Yomechon, Uchaye, the whole Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Bizman, Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Morach, Elam, Omel Maya. Yitporach, V'yishtarach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitrumam, V'yitnaseh. V'yitzadar, V'yitzaleh, V'yitzalal, Shmei Kudusha, Barichu. Le'ela, V'yikol, V'yirchata, V'shirata, Tushbachata, V'nechamata, V'amiram, V'elma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, L'chaim Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Yiramav, Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. All right, friends, just a couple of quick announcements before we head out into this gorgeous evening, this gorgeous Shabbat. Service is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Please join us. The more, the merrier. And one of these days there will be food. So you got to come for the food. Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Sunday at 3 o'clock. The final Let My People Know, meandering through the Midrash. The final course this summer, and then we're going. And it's some of my favorite midrashim. I've picked 3 of my favorite midrash pieces, and come and find out why they are my favorites. Then we'll pick up in September. We'll have 2 high holiday classes, preparing for the high holidays. So you don't want to miss any of those. Monday night at 6:30, deep dive into Genesis continues. We're at the rainbow. We're at the rainbow. So that's where we are in the story of Noah. Wednesday night, as far as I know, live, in person, and on Zoom, the Yiddish choir, the best little choir from coast to coast, the Yiddish choir with the most. Right? So come, and they're working on some classics, but some of the classics are relatively new. So come find out, get your Yiddish and your song on, and then we will be back on Friday night for Shabbat services one more time. All right, I think that's it. Kind of a quiet week, So we're gonna need it. We're gonna need it. High holidays about 5 weeks away. So, yeah. All right, let's close out page 321. Adon Olam. Adon Olam Hashem Allah. B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Li'et nasa b'chefzo kol. Azai melech shemo nikra. V'yacharei niklot hakol. Levado imloch nora. Vehu haya vehu hoveh. Vehu yeh b'tifara. Vehu echad v'ein sheni. Lehamshilo lahachbira. V'li reishit v'li tachlit. V'lo ha'oz v'hamisa. Vehu eli v'chai goli. V'tzur chedli v'yehitzahara. Vehu nisi umanos li. Menat kosi v'yom ekra. V'yado akid rufi. V'yetishan v'yahira. V'imruchi g'viati. Adonai li v'lo yira. All right, let's see. Oh, well, it looks like lots of people on the interwebs this evening saying hello. Let's see who they are. I'm going to have to all the way back. All right, Donna Wilson. Shabbat Shalom to all. Thank you, Donna. G. David T. Hello, Grant David in Florida. Good Shabbos to everyone at B'nai Shalom and watching everywhere. Take care there in Huntington, and Shabbat Shalom from David in Florida. Same to you. There's Mom. Shabbat Shalom to all from Rabbi's Mom and Cliff. Thank you. G. David T. Good Shabbos, Rabbi's Mom and Cliff. He grew up with Rabbi Witcher. No. All right. So, all right. David Johnson says Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, David. Same to you. ML Glazer and Herman. There they are. Wish all a peaceful Shabbat. Thank you, ML and Herman. G. David T. Good Shabbos to David and ML. And peaceful to everyone. And everyone. Time to unplug, listen, rest for a blessed Shabbat. That's a shared sacred island in time and space. Thank you, G. David T. Shabbat Shalom to you and everyone. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. Come and join us for as much as you want. We are open. We look forward to having you here. Be careful out there, and we'll see you soon.